Hello, my name is Tamaria Jones, and I am honored to present my leadership reflection as part of the Safety and Health program. Throughout my coursework, from foundational studies in safety, health, and compliance to advanced training in emergency management, hazardous material response, and capstone leadership, I have developed a deeper understanding of what it truly means to lead with clarity, courage, and responsibility. Today, I will walk you through a critical moment in my leadership journey, my role as an incident commander during a chlorine release at our water treatment facility on August 18, 2022. This event tested every skill I had learned: technical, operational, and yes, emotional. It challenged my ability to protect people, stabilize a rapidly evolving situation, and communicate with transparency a high risk emergency that affected not only our workforce but also the surrounding community. I will share the chronology of the event, the priorities that guided my decisions, the leadership strategies that I use to manage my team and the media, and the lessons that continue to shape my growth as a safety and health professional. Thank you for joining me as I reflect on this defining experience. So, the chronology of the event and immediate priorities stemmed from sections 330, 340, and 430 in our safety and health program. It was 12:30 p.m. on a warm, dry Thursday afternoon. So that means it was midday. The workers were returning from lunch. Equipment was active. Foot traffic was high. Heat increased chlorine vaporization risks. An operations team member notified me that a large chlorine tank had sprung a leak, and it was with 400 workers on site, including multiple family members, and a small town of about 3,500 residents just east of us. I immediately recognized the potential for mass casualties. So, my immediate priorities came from risk assessment and industrial hygiene and hazardous materials response. I prioritized life safety first. So I initiated site-wide evacuation for all personnel downwind, directed upwind shelter in place for unaffected zones, activated accountability procedures to ensure all 400 workers were located. Next, I used incident stabilization, and I ordered isolation of the chlorine tank area. We shut down nearby ignition sources and mechanical equipment, established hot, warm, and cold zones. Next, we did environmental protection. We monitored wind direction and vapor drift, coordinated with environmental teams to prevent runoff contamination. Next, we used asset protection. We ensured critical systems were shut down safely and prevented secondary chemical interactions. These priorities aligned with the ICS framework emphasized in sections 430 and reinforced throughout section 499. Next, the references and tools that were used during the event. They came from sections 330, 358, and 430. I used the safety data sheet for chlorine provided toxicity, vapor density, PPE requirements, and emergency procedures. Next, the emergency response guide, also known as ERG Guide 124 for chlorine helped determine isolation distances and protective actions. Next, Facility Emergency Action Plan, the EAP. I developed this using principles from Section 358, the Emergency Management section, and also from Section 301, Technical Communication. I also use the Incident Command System Protocols reinforced in Sections 430 and 499. I use air monitoring data and weather reports used to track plume movement and adjustment evacuation zones. These references ensured my decisions were evidence-based, compliant, and defensible. Next, my support team and leadership skills that were used came from sections 300, 310, 320, 410. No incident commander succeeds alone. So my support team included an operations section chief, and they oversaw the shutdown procedures and ensured safe isolation of the chlorine tank. I had a safety officer, and they monitored responder PPE, heat stress, and exposure risk. Next, I had a public information officer. They managed communication with media and the community. I also had a liaison officer, and they coordinated with fire, EMS, and local emergency management. Lastly, I had a logistics section chief, and they provided air monitoring equipment, PPE, and medical support. The leadership skills I drew from sections 300, 310, 320, and 410. The decisive action I made, rapid, informed decisions without hesitation. I used clear command level communication. It was concise, and I used directive language to avoid confusion. My emotional intelligence was there were so many workers and they had family on site. So I acknowledged their fears and provided reassurance and maintained calm authority. I used delegation and trust. I empowered my section chiefs to execute their roles without micromanagement. And then I also used situational awareness. I continuously reassessed conditions and adjusted strategies. These skills kept the response coordinated, controlled, and effective. Next, I used leadership action with media. The media arrived within minutes, and in a small town, information spreads quickly, and misinformation spreads even quicker. Using communication principles from Section 301 and crisis leadership strategies from sections 410 and 499, I designated the PIO as the sole spokesperson, they prevented mixed messages and speculation. I provided timely, factual updates, and that means they confirmed the incident, stated that emergency protocols were active, and reassured the public that there were no fatalities. Next, we protected worker privacy. I avoided releasing names, medical details, or family information. And we also maintained transparency without causing panic. I balanced honesty with calm, controlling messaging. This approach preserved public trust and prevented unnecessary fear. Next, the leadership strengths used in a small town. high emotion environment came from sections 300, 320, and 410. This was not just a workplace, it was a community. Many of my employees were related and emotions were high. So the key strengths that I leaned on were empathy. I recognized the emotional weight of the situation and communicated with compassion. Cultural awareness. In a small town, relationships matter. I respected family dynamics and community ties. I stayed calm under pressure. My demeanor set the tone for the entire response. I used ethical leadership. I prioritize transparency, fairness, and accountability. And I used servant leadership. My focus was on protecting people first, always. These strengths were reinforced throughout sections 300, 320, and 410, and they shaped my ability to lead effectively during crisis. So my key learnings and how I use them were a reflection of the capstone, section 499. This incident taught me several powerful lessons. Number one, preparedness saves lives. Training, drills, and clear EAPs made our response seamless. Communication is the backbone of crisis leadership. Clear, consistent messaging prevented chaos. Emotional intelligence is as important as technical skill. People follow leaders who show humanity. ICS works. When leaders trust the system, delegation and structure can prevent confusion. How I will use these learnings. I will strengthen the future EAPs and training programs, mentor new safety leaders, advocate for stronger community industry emergency partnerships, and continue developing my leadership skills as I advance in the safety and health profession. These lessons will guide me through my career and reinforce my commitment to protecting people, the environment, and the communities we serve. In closing, this incident reinforced one of the most important truths I have learned throughout the safety and health program. Leadership is measured in moments of pressure, uncertainty, and responsibility. The chlorine release tested my ability to remain calm, decisive, and compassionate while protecting lives, the environment, and the community we serve. My coursework prepared me to lead with structure, evidence-based decision-making, and emotional intelligence. The experience strengthened me and my commitment to continuous improvement, stronger emergency planning, and developing future leaders who can respond with confidence when it matters most. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my leadership journey. I am grateful for the knowledge gained throughout this program and for the opportunity to apply these lessons in real-world situations. I look forward to carrying these skills forward as I continue to grow in the field of safety, health, and compliance. Thank you once again.